Folks, I want you to go back to a year ago, and I want you to think about what you were thinking about right now. For a lot of you, like me, it was football season starting. Who was going to be good and who wasn't? Who was I going to root for and who was I going to root against? Was my team going to be good? Who'd win the national championship? You were thinking about all sorts of things other than air quality, other than viruses, other than respiratory illnesses. We weren't having to look at our neighbors and our friends and people that we passed in the street as if they were vectors of viruses, as if they were monsters. Stay away from me. We weren't having to cover up our faces and hide ourselves and our true emotions. You could see people smile. And then everything changed. And now we talk about social distancing, the grade of the mask you're wearing, the strength of your respiratory system. I mean, it's a whole different world. And so that's why what we're talking about today, which is air quality, particularly inside your home, where most of us are spending a lot of time right now. And when you spend time where I spend time in Houston, you spend a lot of that time hopefully inside, where you can cool the air, where you can hopefully control that air. So I've asked Kevin Murphy to join us. He's the VP of Business Development at Trane. Trane is, full disclosure, a show sponsor of my show. It is also the system I have in my house, and it is also the system, if they weren't a sponsor, that I would tell you to put in your home because it is the best. Ask anybody in the business, they'll tell you. The Rolls-Royce, Bentley, top of the line, best you can get is Trane. So anyway, we're talking about indoor air cleaning. We're talking about the air we breathe. And I know you and I were talking about, Kevin, you folks have been obsessed with that because the marketplace has to find the solution for the residents. And what is that?
Well, thanks for having me on, Michael. Yeah, we've been immersed in indoor air quality. You know, you mentioned back in the fall what things were like. I don't even remember what things were like back then. Right around mid-March is when our office shut down, and it became, all hands on deck. How do we help our customers? How do we help our folks control or clean their indoor air? And that's a very complicated question because, everyone is seeing nowadays all these different technologies get cast about the market. We do this, we do that. Everyone's making empty promises, or promises, that is, on what their system can do. And, we've been here trained forever, 100 years talking indoor air quality. First it was filtration, filters, best first line of defense for indoor air quality. And nowadays we're talking about other air cleaning technologies that simply work. We've been promoting the technologies that we have for over 20 years, and that hasn't changed. A lot of folks have come on the market now that are making these claims, these exaggerated claims, trying to sell something. And so many of our customers who are our long-term friends as well, they're asking us, what do we do? And the first step, I think, to do is, call someone who knows what they're talking about, and they'll tell you straight what to do. Because there is no one-size-fits-all answer. There's no one magic bullet that makes everything right. Everything's a little bit different, right? So if you call someone knowledgeable and you can ask them and they're honest with you, they won't try and sell you something that won't work, or worse, they won't try and sell you something that might harm you. A lot of these technologies.
So give me some
today,
examples
Michael,
give me some examples
Sure.
of some things that you can do. Obviously, the first reason we have an air conditioning system, whether it's Trane or anyone else, is in our environment is we want to cool our house. But to the extent that you can do more than that with this system, what are we talking about?
So the first and foremost is everybody can change their filters regularly, number one, right? That's kind of a standard maintenance procedure.
Sure.
Second, you can increase the efficiency of your indoor air filters, right, from a MERV 8 to a MERV 11 or a MERV 13. Those are technical terms, but if you go to Home Depot and look at the shelf of filters, that's what they'll say. So you can increase the efficiency of your filters. Secondly, you can bring in a little more fresh air into your homes, right? One way to clean the air in your house is to get the bad air out and bring the good air in. Unfortunately, our HVAC systems are not sized for that kind of capacity. When do you open the windows in your house in Houston in August? You just don't. So the third technology is...
Kevin, I got to interrupt you.
Sure.
My wife is from India, And many, many times when I come home, if I come home in the middle of the afternoon in August, every window in the house open. If she knows I'm coming, she'll close them up and turn the air conditioning on. But she is accustomed to searing hot air, and she doesn't mind that. She loves the fresh air. So I have to quibble with you. I don't know how many other people do what she does, but I can tell you our Trane air conditioning system then has to get to work because I don't like it hot, and she turns that thing on. And if I give her a few minutes before I'm coming home or she knows, she'll turn it on, and it's cooling the house down. So that's a testimony and a jab at my wife at the same time, and a disagreement with you over. There are some people out there who have their windows open. I got to tell you.
I guess there's probably some. Compared to India, we probably have a pretty nice climate, I'd imagine. Right, so
yeah,
it's probably cool.
No,
it's cool outside.
India's just as where she's from in India is just as hot as it is in Houston. The difference is air conditioning is not as widespread, and you don't run it to the temperature we do. If I told you what my Trane AC system has to put the temperature at for me to sleep at night, you'd think you would think I'm a bit of a nut. But anyway, so go ahead. You were finishing. I interrupted. I apologize.
Yeah. So the technologies are or the systems are filtration, clean air, clean outside air, increase the outside air, and then actually take it another step and treat the air. So our system is called it's a lot of words, but it's called the Catalytic air cleaning system, right? It's made by Trane, and what it does, it works similar to the catalytic converter in your car. Now, it doesn't have exhaust going through it, but it uses the same chemistry, right? So this chemistry, anything that goes through this media, it looks like a filter. If it's got biologicals in it, it gets eviscerated. That means if you have volatile organic compounds, if you have odors, viruses, bacteria, bioaerosols, any of the nature of stuff that has carbon, it gets eviscerated right at the media, so that when it circulates through your house, the air is continuously getting scrubbed. And it's efficient at 99.5% first pass. So that means your air is clean. Now, to give you an example, I had it in my own house before the flood. Regrettably, I had to remodel, and it was fantastic. Anytime we cooked fish or anytime we cooked onions or whatever, it just cleaned the air. My wife was just agog over our system. But we install it in residential, hospitals, office buildings. I got to say, in our office building here where I am, we put it in our system 10 years ago. And when COVID broke out, a lot of our employees, like everywhere in the city or the country, were really concerned about the indoor air we were breathing. And I had to help everybody rest assured that they've got the cleanest indoor air in Houston. Actually, this air is cleaner than anywhere. So that's what we're promoting as the third step of air cleaning, and that is the catalytic air cleaner.
Okay.
And so, filtration, change your filters, keep them clean, increase the outside air. In your case, that's extreme, but I used to live in Bel Air, and I had that ceiling fan in my house, and the way we cooled our house at night, open all the windows up and turn that big ceiling fan on, and it sucked all the air out of the house through the windows, and that's how we slept. I understand where you're coming from there. And then the third step is the catalytic air cleaning system, and that'll make your air springtime fresh and clean.
And where are you using this technology?
We use it everywhere there's air, anywhere air is treated. So if, residences, absolutely, downstream of a filter. In hospitals, it's very common in hospitals. We're in some of the most famous hospitals in Houston, to give you an example. We use it in office buildings, schools. The military is a big user, veterinary and animal science establishments, casinos, really anywhere where indoor air is important. Now, the airports have been very popular lately because, the travelers going back and forth all over the world. So airports have been installing it, cleaning the terminal air of biologicals. So very common in airports, hospital, labs, clean rooms, hotels, anywhere that there's odor. Again, odor is the telltale of something biological, right? Odor means something is carbon-based, and it's probably not good for you, right? All biologicals, and you hear COVID thrown around a lot, right? COVID is a biological, so the system destroys and cleans that out of the air. Now, some folks will say, well, have you tested it with COVID, right? The answer is no, because we can't get COVID. We can't just go buy COVID from Home Depot, get a sample from COVID. We have to actually run sample tests of other similar materials that are not as deadly as COVID. So we run all sorts of tests for different biologics to clean the air. And so it's installed anywhere air is breathed inside your building. So it can really be applied almost anywhere, as if the air is being cooled or heated or treated, for that matter.
So when people call you and they say, I want clean air, obviously this is something we're willing to spend money on, something we're willing to put our resources behind. What are the driving factors? If somebody takes the time to pick up, because I often say there's a lot of things I'd like to get done, but until it really matters to me, I'm not going to even take the time, much less the money, to make this investment, because there are always competing needs or competing indulgences. So why are people, in today's world, in the COVID world, what are the reasons?
So the reason people are doing it today is because they all want to breathe clean air. They want to stay well. Mostly it's because people are concerned with the health of us, health of people. Now, it's easy to say, I want clean air, to your point. And my first question is, let me come look what you got. Because it may not fit, it may not be applicable, it may not work for your situation, for that building or the building type or whatever. So a lot of people say that's what they want, but it's not that easy. It really takes a knowledgeable person to go look at the installation to see if we can make it apply, especially in existing buildings, right? Existing buildings weren't made for this technology, right? This wasn't a big deal a year ago, right? It is now, and we're in all sorts of new buildings that are going to be coming out of the ground, but old homes, old buildings were not made initially for this technology. So a lot of people say, I want it, and we have to talk about budgets. No budget's unlimited. That's a showstopper a lot of the times. They say, well, we can't afford that. Sure. I ask them, can you afford to increase your ventilation? Do that first. The professional body I'm a part of, the steps are, number one, improve your filtration, mechanical filtration. Number two, increase the ventilation in the space. Number three, then start talking about additional technologies. So I always point people first, do the first two steps. They're the easiest and least expensive steps.
Say those
Some
again.
Folks, the three steps is filtration, mechanical filtration.
Okay.
And then
what
increasing ventilation.
What does that mean for the average person?
That's diluting the air in your house.
You're an engineer. We're not. We're sort of the equivalent to we just want to put the gas in and make it go. We just want to turn the AC on and make it cool down.
Right. So, it's diluting the air, increasing ventilation, and bring more outside air in the house and flush it out. Okay. Right. Like your wife is diluting the air. Best that can be done. Open all the windows up, and your air is going to be diluted.
You have no idea.
Can't do any better than that. She's doing an awesome job. Those two steps.
Okay, so you said no budget's unlimited.
Temperature and humidity. Pardon me?
For people, you said no budget's unlimited. So for people to understand, because Trane is the best system, and there's no doubt about that. It's not cheap, as in cheap throwaway or cheap trash. It is quality. It lasts. It's something that I tell people to invest in. Find other ways to cut corners. This is a system that is critical to the functioning and comfort of your home. But what are we talking about roughly in terms of budgets for these things?
Well, that's a really hard question to answer because it's something that has to be applied. You have to go there and look at it to see if it can fit. But, when I tell people first, are you ready to spend money? Right? That's the first question. If they're not, then I go focused on steps 1 and 2 first. Now, some folks are. They have to do it. Some of our commercial customers, they have to open their building, right? Nothing's unlimited, but they've got to do something. And we help them do that. We make a survey of their building and try and help them apply the technology the best they can, as most efficiently and cost-effective as possible. But, indoor air quality is important to our residential customers, like it is to you and I. But budgets are budgets. If you're going to add this to a 3-ton house, if you have 3 tons of air conditioning in your house, be ready to spend $2,000 or $3,000 to clean the air in your house. Now, to you and me, that's a lot of money, right? But to someone who maybe has a compromised immune system already, right, that's not a lot of money. Right. But it just really depends on the circumstance and the situation. So we try and guide folks, follow a stepped approach of increased improved filtration, increased dilution or ventilation, and then an additional air cleaning technology on top of that. So that's how I can just answer the budget question. It's until you can see if it can fit. For example, if you can get power to it, all those kinds of technical questions. Really talking about the cost to the customers. Really, it is important to talk about budgets and what they think it's going to cost, so you can get a quick yes/no. Right? Are you willing to do this? Because if you are, it's going to add significant cost to your system. And a lot of times, people now they're very much in favor. Like, well, we're okay with that. Just as long as it's a fair number, let's do it, and that's what we help them do.
Well, and I'll tell you from my own personal experience. My dad's 80, my mom's 75. So these are the kinds of things I'm looking at for them to make sure that the air they're breathing is quality, because you want to maximize. I mean, folks are wearing masks and gloves and keeping distance and all these sorts of things. It's not just a COVID thing. We're going to have the flu. We're going to have the flu every year from October to March, and you've got all these other respiratory conditions and airborne viruses. I mean, I think this is something we're going to be thinking about and talking about for a very long time, particularly for people with comorbidities, particularly for people who are older and have compromised systems, and eventually we're all going to be there. I mean, these are the sorts of things that now take a much more important role. It's, diet doesn't matter until you have a heart attack. Then you start saying, okay, I'm going to focus on what I eat. Well, I think we've kind of nationally, our public health has been questioned, and now we're going to start looking at things like this instead of maybe some of the indulgences and toys where we spend our money. We're going to focus on the air quality in our home, right? And I think that we're going to see a national transformation toward that. So,
well, I can speak to that already. Michael, I used to spend most of my time talking about energy with customers. How much does it cost to run? What's the efficiency of a unit, right? That was always the big question. Efficiency versus first cost. 95% of my time is spent on that. Today, 50%, half of my time we're talking about IAQ in clean air, because it affects everybody. Everybody who owns a home goes to work somewhere, right? Every teacher who goes into a classroom comes home somewhere, right? So if we're indoors like we are in Houston, it affects everybody. So, when you asked me earlier, imagine where we were last fall. Thank God we're having a Big 12 football season, but imagine where we were last fall to now. I can't even remember what it was like last fall. Yeah. What happened, right? It just seems like a twilight zone that we've gone into this place of uncertainty and worry and concern, and we're going to dig ourselves out, but it's the new normal, right? Next spring, we're going to start talking about the flu again, and now it's different.
Well, look,
now we're talking about
focusing
the flu.
on our health is not a bad. This might be a change, but it's not a bad thing. I mean, we spend more time as a family together now because you don't have all the things that take you out of the house and away from the family. So, there are some good things to come out of this, and if focusing on the quality of our air, and especially, our elderly, our kids, the compromised. A lot of people out there suffering emphysema, they're suffering asthma, all of those respiratory conditions that need cleaner air. So that's why I wanted to talk about it. Kevin Murphy, thank you for being our guest. Don't be a stranger. Come back.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.